All right, hello. Oh, there she is. I just got back from the gym. I'm gonna go on some chill. Oh no, she's solid. Some chill music. Here we go. How y'all doing? I've been working on a bunch of stuff for one of my websites. That's not up yet. Well, actually it is, but there's no link to it, so you don't get to know. And just such a dreadful time working on getting. It wasn't. I mean, it just wasn't working. I wasn't like upset about it. It was fine, but Photoshop save to web. If you've dealt with Photoshop before, it's a common thing. Save to web when you try to export it. Save to web legacy. And it just wouldn't work. And I even had a Photoshop guy who was taking over my computer screen and going through everything, and he wasn't even able to figure it out. He would do something that would work, and then I would follow his steps, and it wouldn't work. And obviously, if I tell you that, you're like, oh, you obviously just didn't follow the steps right. But he was like, I have no idea why it didn't work. And then he would do what he tried to do using the file I used, and that just wouldn't work. And then he would use the same file, but just literally change, not anything that would change the thing, like use a few less frames. Basically, I was turning a video into a GIF for this website, and just, it was ridiculous. So anyway, he couldn't figure it out, I couldn't figure it out.
Great. Candle from the wedding.
We probably can't hear you if you talk super quiet.
Oof. What? Wait a minute. What? This kind of smells like very strong, and kind of smelled like pumpkin spicy, but it's like Christmas tree pine scented. This is bad. Dreadful.
You can't even see what you're doing. She's doing stuff down there.
I'm scared.
Believe me.
Aww.
She blew out the candle. I wish you would have been on
I got nervous, even though it's nowhere near my fingers.
Okay, so that one also.
I want my candle.
Let's see.
Look at him.
That one also.
You got toasted. Why don't I just use my safe lighter so that I don't get...
Well, because the matches came with it, so obviously.
There we go.
And there's a bunch of free websites, as you know, if you do video, different work type stuff. It's like, convert my video to a GIF. Just like click it online. But like I pay for Photoshop, you know, like I wanted it to work. And it should work, and whatever. So I ended up literally just using a free online thing. You click it twice. I spent maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours talking to a guy from Photoshop, and I just ended up going online and clicking convert video to GIF, and in about 30 seconds it was done. So it's quite annoying. And the quality's pretty high. Could be better on Photoshop, obviously, but not really too noticeable. I'll probably notice it. Literally no one else will. Esther's mic's really far from her, so let me move that for her. There we are.
Hi.
So we got some cool new paint. Just to try and for fun. I heard some cool stuff about it. I wanted to try and use it for different techniques and such. And so we'll go over to Esther Cam. She'll talk to you about something, and then we'll come back over to mine.
Got some new sparkling water at Costco.
Not really sparkling
But
water.
it is sparkling water. It's 0 calories, but it's that stuff that has
Fake sweeteners.
other stuff in it, and I didn't know. It tastes good, but it's like not sparkling water. But it is, but it's not, you know?
I don't.
It just tastes kind of, you know.
Fake. It doesn't have that bad of fake flavor, though, to be honest.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. Costco is exciting. I got those nuggets that people said were like Chick-fil-A nuggets a while ago. And I have the Chick-fil-A sauce in a bottle.
And they really are. They really do taste like.
So we have Chick-fil-A at home, right? And it did kind of taste like their nuggets, but I don't have an air fryer, so I just had to put them in the oven.
We have a convection oven.
But it was still pretty good. And I got some boba.
Oh, your mic is right in front of your face.
Yeah? Oh. You put it there.
Well, I know, but I would hope you would deal with it, but I try to, but it's hard to from over here. So here is the new paint. You might have seen it before. We'll put a link to it in the description below. Get on Amazon. It's gel paint. They call it like gel, or like it's like always wet, and it has this like, it's called Himi. Has a really cool box, I'll tell you that. It's totally worked with just this matte little cat, and like it says Gouache and it's like crossed out for no reason. But it's like supposed to be an airtight seal and stuff. So anyway, should be fun. So we have to open each one. So time for some ASMR, dangerous, spill the paint all around type of stuff. So here we go. Yeah, there you go. You can have one. So, we'll see how easy this is or how difficult, and let you know.
We have a little bag here to put it in.
Brown. And it doesn't say what color is each one, I don't think.
No, I love
Nope. So we just have to find out. So here's brown. We'll leave them where they
this
put
one
them.
is in a green tub, so
Well, it's obviously green. What do you mean
it's
a green
clear.
tub? Yeah, the tubs are clear. A green tub. So let's see. Another kind of greenish.
Oh, you're saying it doesn't say what color, so I thought you meant, you can't tell.
Well, you can tell.
Because you can't tell from the top.
You're fine just throwing these out, even though they have a bunch of color on top?
Yeah.
Okay. This set is $15, so I'm not really worried.
Oh, wow.
It's a really good. It's
smell review.
It's not super high quality paint. Well, there it goes all over my fingers.
Can't
there you go.
anything.
Oh, I'm getting on everything.
Oh, what are you doing?
So
son?
there we are.
Why don't you go clean your hands?
I'm going to.
Oh no! I almost picked up where you. Wait a minute. Here's mine. Beautiful, not on my hands. Green. But then the one that he was about to open looks like the same color as what I opened. We don't want repeats. That's no fun.
Where's it about repeat?
The green you're about to open looks like the one I just opened.
It's definitely not the same. They're all different colors, I know that. So.
Oh yeah, cause look, isn't this black or is this navy?
I don't think that's black now. I'm pretty sure they're all different. So anyway, I was trying not to get my hands in it. Not like super. I wasn't like being super careful, but I also wasn't being careless about it, and I did get it on me. So there's that. So if you're not like super slow and particular about it, it will get on you.
Particular.
What'd I say?
That's what you said.
Oh.
I just thought it was fun.
Particular?
Per?
Oh, you say particular? It's not spelled particular there.
I know. But if you say it fast, particular.
The screen went right here. So yeah, you can tell they're different, but not by a lot. Yeah, this is definitely and when you add water to this is gouache, so
I want to
it's
start from this side.
kind of like opaque watercolor.
These are kind of hard to get
More
out.
water you add, the less opaque it'll be, blah, blah, blah. Here's white.
Oh no. I'm clumsy.
Not regularly.
Anyway, I'm clumsy with the live stuff.
So you can add water to this. It won't be like acrylic to the point of being. You could just lay this down without adding any water to it and keeping it thick, which by the way I am going to try that with this paint, even though that's really not what it's about. It comes with this little thing, and you can mix and add like a little bit of water to it. So you're definitely going to get this on yourself as you open it.
I had done so well.
Well, you're just going to. Like, you're not even. It would take hours if you like were like, okay, let me make sure no paint. It's paint. You're gonna get a little bit on yourself, you know, like.
Huge job.
So, you're supposed to not have to wet these. They're supposed to stay this gel consistency, which I doubt will happen. That's supposed to be the whole kind of thing with the palette that clips down and is it's supposed to be like airtight and stuff. I have read it's not entirely airtight. And you can kind of reactivate these, but you have to add a bunch of water, get a palette knife, mix each little of these squares, go in there with the palette knife, put a bunch of water, mix it around. I'm not going to be doing that. If these dry up and get ruined, they'll just be thrown out.
What?
What?
What did you say?
If these dry up and get ruined, they'll just be thrown out.
Aww.
Okay, so it definitely comes with 2 whites. Because I can see that now for sure. This little part just got to wear. See that? It looked like it had come off and then it hadn't, so I had to come back this way, so that's difficult, and then it got back into itself.
Hmm.
They also have different little pictures on them, but
Yeah.
the same picture doesn't mean the same color, because there's been ones with the same picture that are different colors. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 whites. This is not also black. I can tell. You might not be able to tell on live. But it is a very deep
and
blue.
I can now see the difference between the greens.
Yeah, definitely. The whites could be exactly the same, but you could also have a white that's more opaque and less opaque. Also, different colors will react differently. That's true for every type of paint. I can tell off the bat, and I also know from this color usually that this color is going to dry up really quickly, and you can tell it's a lot less wet than the others. Just by looking at it, you can tell, like, these whites super wet, these blues super wet, and this like yellow ochre kind of color, it's gonna dry up. We did this with no sense of one side to the other, which is also gonna make it more of a mess. Which is totally fine.
Ooh.
I think. They have very little scent, which is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Gouache usually has some sort of a scent. These are not super high quality paints, but I've heard really good things about them. Yellows are gonna be, this yellow is gonna be very wet. You can see it there. Very gel-like. I have no idea what we'll be using these for. I didn't have a, well, I would like to be able to use them like oils, I'll be honest, and I know I can't, so don't laugh at me. I understand that they're gouache, but I would like to use these by adding little to no water to them and thicken it up and stack it up, so I will be attempting that. I will be using our old brushes with this paint, not our nice new watercolor ones, but we will be using our nice watercolor ones, just simply the ones that already lost their tip, so get all those in a area for us.
So the ones we bought new ones up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not even just that, anyone that don't have a good tip. And this odd purple.
Purple?
All right.
Ooh.
So it's very fun looking. I can't.
They look kind of different
deny
on
that.
camera.
Here's a nice bright light on them, so you can really tell that they're gel.
Shiny.
Yeah, very shiny.
Whoa, some of them.
So
are,
interesting.
like this color looks. That color looks completely different on camera. For me.
Yeah, some. But if I moved it around, it would probably. No, I guess, yeah.
See, it looks like grayed out.
Yeah, it does.
It's
But some of the colors are just as vibrant as they are.
It's super bright in person.
Yeah.
These
So this
two
is very heavy,
are
by the way.
true.
This thing is very, very heavy with all this paint. And I mean, that's crazy, actually.
It is?
I will go over to Esther Cam as I move mine back up. And then she'll hold it over there and show you how heavy it is. She has a robe on, by the way.
Because I'm cold. Whoa, it's heavy.
So it's very heavy. Obviously not heavy to the sense of like heavy not being able to hold it, but heavy for paint. So you feel it and you're like, oh, I thought that was paint. I mean,
Whites do be looking the same.
yeah, the whites look the same. And obviously I could have just looked when I
wait.
got it at the colors. So it's not like you need to be surprised by the colors. Like, it's not like they didn't send me what it said. I just simply didn't look at
Now
the
that they're
colors.
all together, it feels like cheese.
So we're going to go back to my cam here in a second, and then I guess I didn't need to put my camera up because we'll be painting here.
I want to finger paint with them.
Yeah. So we have a few pieces of paper that got.
This box is so cute and pastel. I kind of would like
Yes.
them to be pastels.
Yeah, I guess they're not pastels, but well, actually they're really bright. They're obviously not pastels. But
very bright.
well, I guess we don't have just a throwaway piece of paper. Well, we have this one that's the wrong size, which we could easily cut it, but we have so much watercolor paper. I'm not worried about it, but I am at the same time because I'm like,
will be your palette holder.
my palette holder.
That's my job.
That's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. So I'm gonna get back into. Oh.
Oopsie.
Gonna get back into a position here for painting. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna mess with it Again, I didn't have that idea of painting that I was talking about the other day has nothing to do with this paint. I would rather use watercolors to do that thing I was talking about. This is gouache paint, so it's not for that reason I was talking about yesterday. The website I was working on, though, was the Method to the Melody website, my music and teaching business. Do I have water? Oh,
I made this bagel. I ate half of them. But I had just eaten dinner.
Yeah, I don't know why you made that.
Ago, so I don't really know
Oh darn,
why
now
I
it's in
made
front
it.
of me.
And then I got everything bagels. And usually they only have stuff on the outside, but there's like seeds on the inside.
I think that's pretty normal to have stuff on the inside.
No, it's not. They're not the ones I usually get. So there's too much crunchiness going on. And I'm full and I feel stuffed.
So I'll be testing these paints just kind of right out.
You should just do little
Obviously
swatches.
Yeah.
Pleasing.
Obviously my paintbrush will be wet, but with very little water, and I'm going to be kind of just going right in. Now the thing is, then that'll end up also messing up the paints a little bit in the sense of getting other colors into them.
Wait, what?
So I'm not going to try to do that, but that's going to inevitably end up happening a little bit. The wettest color is going to be these oranges, reds. So
You
the thing is,
swatches of him.
it's going to come out
little
really,
squares.
really...
He's not gonna. Beautiful.
Gouache is also supposed to dry pretty matte.
Can you blend
So something that I should...
with water?
Oh, of course. Something that I should notice while using these is that I can paint for a long time. And I'm definitely noticing that. Now if I rinse the brush off, dab it off, I want to see if I can get rid of that edge or if it hardens. So it looks like I can continue to kind of muff it up and it ends up moving. Something else that I want to test is when it dries, does it lose these like little edges and stuff? It should feel pretty similar to watercolor though. So I'm not imagining some drastic
That is so pleasing.
difference. Interesting. Some really weird color right next to it.
Green.
So when you lay it down, it tries to, because it's that gel, I haven't mixed this color all up, it can kind of stay in its spot and not blend out. But see, notice these edges, how crisp these edges stay.
Like,
And that's something about gouache as well. It just doesn't, and especially in this type of, if I wet this all down and added a bunch of water to it, it'd feel just like watercolor. But notice how this edge is starting to dry. But if I go over it once, you can still see that edge a little bit, but I can continue to touch it and then the edge goes away entirely. See that? Now if it totally dried, I'm gonna see all paint has different amounts of wet lifting capability. So when this completely dries, am I still able to go in and lose the edge? And honestly, I'm kind of hoping that I can't. I want to use this paint differently than watercolor. So this is getting very close to dry.
watermelon.
This one. Oh yeah, look at that. This bottom edge is very dry now. So I am going to see if I can muff up and get rid of that edge by just adding water. So as you can see, it's starting to get to where you can't, which is to be expected. And as you continue touching here, up here was still a little bit wet. Notice how the edge had dried and this part hadn't. So as I'm pulling, I have this white dot and then still that edge. You can continue trying to mess with it, picking it up. You're not going to completely lose that edge now because it has dried, but you can move it quite a bit. Now where the color's thicker, you should be able to move it easier. So if I come over here to the back and I try to push it this way, you'll notice I can still pretty much entirely pick it up. This edge won't be able to disappear completely because it was dry. but you can get rid of what's inside of it. Interesting.
My beautiful, pleasing boxes are gone.
Yep. So it stains quite a bit. This is also a very staining color. This red.
Pink.
Now what I want to do with this paint, let's see. For whatever reason, I thought of painting a raccoon.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna get a raccoon. I'm gonna get a pencil. Esther's gonna grab me a pencil. A raccoon. Get this light in here a little closer.
Pencil.
All right, I got a pencil. So I'm gonna do a little raccoon here.
That is so cute.
Let's see. Now the other thing about gouache is it's supposed to be opaque, right? So I should be able to draw something, and if I'm going to use it right out of the palette with this thicker gel-like consistency, I should be able to go right over these lines that I draw, and it should cover it, right? I get the eyes in here. Very quick drawing. He has a little point here, some tufts of hair. They come down and around. I've got his mask-looking thing. Right, got his head going up here. Got his ears. Okay, so now what I want to be able to do here is take a brush like this and get a little more light on the subject here. No, but I'm not really being able to, so I'm just banging stuff up. I could go like this though. Okay. So what I want to be able to do is come in with dark colors and then come back with light colors later. But we're right, it's gouache. So I'm going to come in with very thick color here. You can see it there. Globbed up on the end of the brush, right? That's honestly a little too much, but I'm not seeing any paper towels. And I don't want... Are there paper towels?
Yeah, I'll bring some.
Yeah, could I have some? Sorry, we always have paper towels, but now I don't see any. So, now I need to wait. Let's get this out a little bit. Get this light in a better position. There we go. Reset that.
That was one of my main things to get at Costco. Paper towels. Uh-oh. He's dropping them.
Globbed up a little too much.
Traditional raccoon colors.
Yeah, definitely.
Darn.
Oh.
We wanted to see a cute, colorful boy.
So, the way I want to paint this is to where you can like see every brush stroke. So, I'm just dotting back into the gel because I want to keep it thick and dark. So, very little water on the brush, going straight into the gels. Esther can talk to you as I'm doing this here. You have your own mic over there. She's like shoved up right into mine.
Be over by you so I can watch your painting.
Oh yeah, you can watch.
But I guess I'll watch from over here if you don't want to share.
There's enough gel water stuff in the gel paint, which is the hope, that I don't really need to use water on the brush. And as you can see, I'm just continuing to be able to move it around, but I'm painting with the gouache almost like an oil paint. Well, obviously acrylic. But for whatever reason, when I saw these, I was like, oh, I would love to have...
They look like oil paints.
A little bit. I was like, I'd love to have a watercolor type thing that reacts and feels like oils.
What's wrong with just actual oils?
Stinky, messy, very expensive. I painted in oils. I had big oil sets.
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard
just
to
going on the
clean up,
eyes.
and then you have to have special stuff to clean the brushes too, right?
Yeah, and then you have to keep the paints in the freezer, and it was always clogging up the freezer.
Freezer?
Yeah, if you want the paints to last long, you leave them in the freezer. So the thing that I'm interested in is how this is going to dry.
Oh.
This is what I'm interested in.
Look at him's little eyes. Wait a minute, are you leaving his white for his eyebrows?
So I've done mostly what I want to do with the black. And here's the whole test, the whole thing. So I'm going to go straight into the white now. And I'm going to try to go into the black and over the black. So I went a little too far in. And I'm going to be, yeah, that's good.
Cool.
So I should be able to come back into the black and create these new textures and also reshape. Oh, very nice. I wanted to be able to reshape the nose here, so I purposely went too large because I'm sorry, I'm not talking too much.
You were following.
Yeah, I'm not talking too much, or I'm not talking enough while I'm painting here to explain what I'm doing. So I'm purposely going over a few things to test things that I want. I also want the white to turn a little bit gray, and you can see it is happening there very nicely. So I'm going over it, and it's keeping a very crisp line. But where I'm touching, the white and the gray, the white and the black is mixing really nicely. So I'm being able to, I would love to do pets with this set. And I mean, that I don't know why I thought raccoon, but animal.
I was going to ask if you tested with raccoon so you could do black and white.
Yes.
The most far
I knew there,
difference to test.
And see, notice what I just did there. So I'm touching into it. And they're thick enough to where nothing's mixing by itself. It's not blending and washing around, but I'm having full control. But look.
So then you can mix it on the paper rather than mix it in the palette.
And that's what I was wanting. So watch here. And as I touch, I'm getting this beautiful mix between the two. And then look, I can like bring that gray in a tiny bit. Like watch the top of the nose. There's this lighter part. So now I have gray on my brush. And look. I can come right in on top.
Oh, him's is cute.
Redefine this. Get this. Show the nostrils. Look at that.
Raccoons are kind of adorable.
But they're monsters.
But they're definitely a pain.
So now, and I've used very little paint. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell I've even used this yet. I'm going to go in with some... There's a little bit of brown in his eyes, so I'm actually going to start his eyes with brown. And again, I should be able to redefine the shape a little bit now. I do want to leave some white. There we go. So nothing's blending in the sense that it's just going wherever it wants. Now this part up here, much more gray, so I really want to actually work into that black, get it moving. There we go. And start really... So I'm really liking this, I have to say.
It looks very cute. Next we need a fox.
Okay. Yeah, and the painting itself isn't turning out horrible.
It can be a little forest crew.
So like, see what just happened there? So I went in, and it's mixing, but it's not out of control by any sense. So I mean, when I say I want it to react like oils, if you really, if you know, if you're an oil painter, you're like, haha, that's nothing like oils. But it is doing exactly what I meant by, I want it to feel like oils. I'm being able to not worry about drawing. I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get a hard edge. I'm not worried about blending, and it's it's making it to where I can come back in and see now I can add white and go to this white. And I'd love to do pet commissions with this. I can just get such hair-like and detail in here.
Do you think they would be as realistic as you...
I can get it to there. So this would just be one layer. Like right now, I'm just kind of messing around and having fun, obviously. But like, to
I like
get...
this cutesy little
Yeah, I like this.
style.
Yeah, I like
but
it.
I was just wondering if you think you can get it to...
Yeah, I could. It would just take time. How much time have I spent? 20 minutes on this, you know? So like, yeah. So like, to get it, like, oh, I want it more detailed. Well, okay, more detail just really equals more time. So this is still just the first layer, you know? And I've only used one brush. I'd be switching brushes to get other details and things. See, so I'd move from this brush to one of our old rigger brushes, which I think, yeah, it's this one.
Wait a minute, what's that? Let me see that.
The old rigger, because it has no tip.
Oh.
And then
Oh, okay.
I'd come in with some white in the rigger to add in some. Camera's getting in my way here. And it's starting to build up to where there is some water in some areas to where it's starting to try to mix. Like right over here in this eye. And then sometimes I'd want to mix, right? So get a little extra water on my brush, and all of this is built up enough to where I can just say like that, and boom. And I can get a really nice.
So if they dried in the palette, could you use it like watercolor and
Correct.
just mix
Just
water on
re-wet
the
it.
top?
Yep. I guess you could. Well, we've got some gray up here, but it gets darker, so what I'm going to do is come in with some black, a little extra water this time, and lay it in. But it is gray, so I'm just going to very quickly, lightly lay it in, and then come right in with some white.
Happy little raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
You should do following a Bob Ross tutorial.
I do not like that. So I got a little black in the white gel, so that kind of ruins it.
You better scoop it out.
So anyway, mixing on the page, which you can also do in watercolor, but it's just different. And if you use watercolor right out of the tube, it would also react like this, but I just don't use watercolor like that, so...
Also, watercolor, like one tube, is about
as much as this whole
that
palette, correct. Well, the brand that we use, you can get a cheap brand. Like this, it would be called a cheap brand of gouache. But honestly, I'm liking how it feels and looks.
This tiny little... Where is it? This tiny little tube was $8.
I thought it was like 12, yeah.
And it's almost out, and I'm gonna need to get another.
So this would still just be the first layer, so obviously this isn't very good. But it's fun, it's quick. These areas have a little brown in them.
Oopsie.
Just threw a quick little sketch down. His ears have some white fur, and I'm also just very interested if I paint like this how it's gonna dry. So I'm also just kind of getting it on here quick because I kind of want to see when it dries.
Does gouache take longer to dry?
With the way I'm painting it, it will, because I'm painting it with these thick edges. And
He's pretty cute, not gonna lie.
so there he is. I gave him a little chubbier, rounder face, but I can make him look a little more like the picture here if I bring this down. And another thing I'm interested in is going to be trying to paint right on top of it.
Layering.
Yeah, because once you paint like this, very difficult to layer. So again, there was extra black on the brush, but I put some white into it. But these paints over here, they're still wet. So as I come in here with the white, you just have to rinse your brush off a lot in between each go, because or else you're going to get that color back into the gels, which I've done a little bit, but not a lot. But you always have a lot of color on your brush.
Gel things are in right now just because it's a pleasing consistency.
Yeah, that
so there's like gel blush, gel foundation, gel eyeshadows, and they're actually, not that I've tried them, but I've seen some people try them. And it just doesn't, it's like
doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Eyeshadow, you just blink a couple times and it's like everywhere it's not supposed to be.
So obviously this is different, but now you're just talking about makeup.
I'm just talking about gel now because it's just,
but you're saying it's not good as makeup.
No, it's not. But it's just interesting and different. And it's just a pleasing consistency. Gel stuff.
So as I lay this gray that comes down here farther under his mouth, I want to add a little white tuft that's just his chin. So let's see, if I get a nice thick glob. See? So I can add a nice little...
He's so cute. He just got so much cuter with that couple second layer stuff. Like how you change the shape of his face.
Yeah. So anyway... it's definitely the style that I'd want if you spent more time on the drawing, obviously, and did a few other things. I'm going to dry this off a little bit. We'll go over Esther Cam. Oh.
I'm looking at the painting. I need to write on my calendar. I wrote the numbers, but it's just blank. Oh, look at it. I didn't do my feeling of the day. I think I'm feeling happy. Not very happy. That's too extreme. Just happy. So what do? I'll just draw it here at the bottom. Bing! Happy boy. Ooh, he's getting out the blow dryer. Alright, so where to start with this calendar? Not really a great view here. Well, let me move this a little bit. So tomorrow we're having snacks plus dessert at our friends.
Not to interrupt Esther, but
7:30.
Nice. So the other really cool thing that I love about watercolor gouache is it dries matte, they say. So I wouldn't say that watercolor dries shiny, but I would say that gouache dries matte. So if you look up here to this gray up here, I don't know, it just looks so matte. So what I should be able to do, what I would hopefully be able to do, so that was just one layer, right? So the hope is that I can come back in here and edit a lot about what's going on. Shapes of things, right? In watercolor, you don't get to do that. You don't get to change shapes of things later. You've got to be thinking about that at the beginning. But With this, I should be able to. Now, always, the issue is, by the way, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time editing things and changing shapes of things now, but I would hope that I would be able to, the difficulty is, can you add enough water? I'm going to do a whisker on one of the sides, and I wouldn't do the whisker yet because I'm not done with editing the shape of the face. But again, I'm not going to spend all that time doing that because this is just one layer. I'd go in and make it look more like hair and fur and all this stuff. But on one side of the face that I'm not going to alter, the left side I like less, I'm going to see how much water do I need to make the paint apply smoothly to be able to get a whisker. Because this is always the issue with gouache. If you don't add enough water, it's not smooth. But if you leave it too thick, then it gets all this very rough texture. So how much water do I need to add to this gel paint to paint smoothly but still be thick enough to apply right over black? So let's find out. Also not the perfect brush for this, but actually, you know what? I will use the perfect brush for this now that I'm really trying it out. So I'll be using one of our new thin... Actually, we didn't get a new one of this size. So this will actually be fun to use because this one doesn't have a really nice tip. Anyway, I would just use the thinnest brush that I have for this. So here we go. A good amount of water. Not so much that I shouldn't... It should be thick and go over the black, but let's find out. Very nice. So as you can see there, went right over the black. It's opaque enough and smooth. So I would say these are really good for their price. I've used other brands and price ranges of gouache, and I would say for the price, for the gel, for the fun factor of that, you know, I would say these are very... Sorry, my hand's right in the way. See, that's what I was talking about. See how it got rough there? How it skipped? See that? And sometimes you'd want that, but I was really looking for that first one. And it did work, but I just need to add a little more water. The main thing will be if these dry up, and I can pretty much guarantee you they will, especially because I'm sitting here using them. I have to have them uncovered. I'm using them. But I haven't touched more than 3 of these colors. So these ones are getting dry because no water's been added. Look, you can already see that this one's getting dry on the edge. So, you know, that'll be the real test, how long.
So what about, I've seen people that have mister bottles.
They spray while they're using it.
They just mist their whole
continuously
palette,
spray.
even if they don't use all of it.
Yep, sure. That'd be good. You got me those little water bottles. I'll just use one of those. So very nice. Now I am going to try to alter the shape of the face on this side. I like this side of the face. If the other side looked like this, I'd be very happy with it. So I'm mainly going to be working on his eyeball here. So let me move this way, move this way, and like that. So yes, that's what I will be working on, is trying this side of the face over here. Let me move it. There we go. So let's see. Can I come in with white? Can I come in with brown? These lighter colors than black, obviously. And can I change the shape of things? Can I make this eye the shape I really want? So he has the white of his eye kind of around. And then I'm obviously adding a lot of it, and what I'll be doing is I'll then be taking it away again using black. So that's what I'm talking about, altering the shape. Really working well. So I'm
gonna get real scared looking for a second.
Yeah, so I'm being able to change the shape, make it more perfectly round. So this is what I would actually do on a second layer of a pet in this style. Well, maybe I wouldn't go straight for the eye, but I'd be changing the shape of things. I might go to this ear, I might go to these tufts of hair right here. So I might come in here and go, okay, I need to push this back up a little bit, right? And I would take white and I would try to move this edge. But I can test that with the eye, and it's a little more fun to watch. So there we go. Now I'm going to go in with really, really black, just straight black. And this paint, this black color, I'm sure will have no trouble staying wet. So now I'm pushing that line back out that I just made, and I should be able to really refine this eye and make a really good, realistic looking eyeball here. Also taking some away.
So cute.
There we go. So as you can see, everything I was talking about wanting to do, I've been able to do with this paint. So as an artist, when you have an idea in your head and your material can't do the thing you're thinking of, it's very annoying. But everything I've commented on doing is happening. I hope Esther's not bored.
I am very intrigued. So I'm watching intently, which means I'm not speaking. But then I also just got distracted because I can't find where my water went.
Oh, I took it in the other room.
Oh my
So
goodness!
now I have no paint on the brush. I have a lot of water, very little water, but it's just water. And I'm coming in to get rid of some of these perfect edges. I know I just made it all perfect, but now it's like, okay, where do these reflections go away on the picture that I have the picture of here? You don't literally have a white line around the entire eye. But I was able to bring it back in so that I could work on it. Yeah, look at that. So that eye is just really popping there. And then the reflection obviously is not a perfectly white little box. I started with a white box, but now I'm gonna come in, blend that reflection away on the edges, curve it a little bit, just make it a more, and if you weren't going for realistic, you might like that big white square, you know, it makes them look cute, like Esther was saying. But I'm going, at least for the eyeball here, I am looking for a somewhat realistic eye here. And there you have it. So I'd be able to do that to the other eye as well. And that's the other beauty of it, is because I remember how I said I don't like this side of the face, especially the eye is what bothered me. Well, I could completely refine it. So I could come onto this eye and do the same thing that I just did on that side. So I could start by getting, oh, not like that. I could start by redoing the edge, get the white to where I actually like it. Come back in with black. Skinny that white line up. And so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but what I was wanting to be able to do with this paint was be able to refine and change shapes after I've already started and laid it down. And as you can see, I am being able to do that very quickly, and the materials aren't making it to where I feel like I can't. Then getting rid of that white line because it wouldn't be around his whole eye. Refining this reflection here, getting rid of it. Rinsing the brush, getting some white. And of course I would let Esther do some. She doesn't like trying stuff out on live, so I'll let her try it later.
I like to watch.
Yeah. So yeah, really being able to refine these shapes. And then of course I can go through the entire thing. I can come back.
Have you only used one white?
I think I used both. Come back in, refine the nose shape. Get the highlight that's on his nose. Get that kind of flat spot right there. Show the nostrils. Nostrils go a little more off to the side here. And so on. So anyway. I'm really liking it. And if I did need to mix, I guess I haven't done the mixing. Let's say I really wanted to go straight out the bat with a gray. they have this little thing, and I can still keep it gel-like because I can just put it here. I just still need to. The thing is, I'd mix very, very little up. See, so now you can tell there's a lot of water. Why? Because it's beating up. So if you get it to where it starts staying and not beating up, like a little bit right there, then it's that gel. You just want to mix up very little because I would have to wipe this off before putting it away.
And doesn't the new palette make it beat up too?
Yeah, but look, when
so don't you have to like use it a little bit, wipe it down?
But if it's gel, there we go. So if it's gel enough, it's gonna start staying, and that's the consistency I want because I'm already onto the second layer. So, and then I'd come in here for the fur and have a color that's not white and not gray, so it stands out on the white and it stands out on the black. So look at that beautiful detail. There we go. So see, this is what I mean by I can come back in and go, okay, where's his cheek really here, right? Oh, it comes out a little farther, and I can, every stroke you're seeing, and I can really get this fur. I can separate his cute little mouth and chin here. Very cool. There we are. Alrighty. Very fun. Esther cam, but I don't know if she's on her cam.
No.
Oh, you're doing your hair?
A haircut.
Yeah, true.
My microphone's in the sky. Because I was standing.
You were standing. Oh. Well, that's good that you were moving it around.
To write on the whiteboard.
The whiteboard.
Getting very sleepy.
Very sleepy? That's a late
I
day.
need to cut off my hair.
I'm hoping that
mess.
this won't touch the paint. I feel like it will. So the question is, will this be nice and wet in the morning? Hopefully, obviously, in one day it will still be wet, but we'll have to see, won't we?
Stop.
Some notification must have come up on Esther's phone. Sorry, guys. I can go back over to mine once I move it up.
It was playing on the other side.
You'll still be getting audio, though. So.
It just needed to catch up, I guess, so it was frozen.
No, it's still definitely frozen.
Yeah, I know, but one
So
side.
we'll go to mine. I'm upside down. Hello.
Oh my goodness.
There we are. So sorry, it'll catch up there in a second. So it's very fun to use. Using it depending on what I'm painting or, what we're working on, it could really lend itself to being better than the watercolor in some ways. As long as it stays gel like that, it'll be very watercolor-like. If it loses that consistency, it won't be worth it, in my opinion. The tube is always going to stay wet. You have this will be wet for years. Obviously, if you leave it in there for very, very long, it'll end up drying up. But that's a very long time not putting the cap back on, whatever. We've had this tube for years, and the minute you open it, it's completely wet inside, obviously. So if those can stay like that, then it's really cool. Only time will tell for that. What a fun little
Raccoon boy.
Fun little raccoon. So
Mr. Garbage Boy.
yeah. So we'll come up with some fun thing to paint using that. I would like to do faces with it too. Obviously that's totally different and much more time spent. I'm not going to try to jump into that right away on a live. But I think the raccoon turned out. I like that one eye a lot. This eye on this side.
What a cute boy.
Gotta get it where the reflection's out of it. There it is.
I was watching you paint it, and I was watching on the screen and not on the paper.
Yeah.
And then it was when you did the eye that you liked.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let me just show you on the other eye. And then I looked down at the page when you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you flopped the color on it, and I thought it was on the eye that you just
because it was like it looks backwards. Yeah. So, yeah, it was fun. I'm going to be working on my website stuff a lot. I was spending a lot of time today sending out a lot of emails to different things that are starting up. So we were doing all of that. So, got a lot of stuff that we're working on. Going to keep working on it. We're trying to still live, though, but we are just not having as much on live. Esther's trying to plan stuff, but I guess we don't have things yet. So, we'll keep working on that, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.